Okay, we're ready, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to this virtual meeting of North Tyneside Council's Cabinet. My name is Norma Redfern and I'm the elected Mayor of North Tyneside, and I will be chairing this meeting. This meeting is an extraordinary meeting of the Cabinet to consider any further comments from the Overview and Scrutiny Budget subgroup on our final proposal for the budget for 2021 to 22. I'd like to inform everyone that this meeting is being live streamed on the Council's YouTube channel to enable the public to observe the proceedings, and I welcome everyone or anyone who's come to watch. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we move on to the agenda, I would like to make it clear who is participating in the meeting. And in order to check us in the meeting, I'd like to ask everyone present to confirm their attendance. First of all, I'll call out the names of our Cabinet members, and after I call your name, please turn on your microphone and camera and introduce yourself, stating your portfolio area. Councillor Bruce Pickard.
Hello there, my name is Bruce Pickard. I'm a councillor for the Riverside Ward and Deputy Mayor with responsibility for regeneration, planning policy, business and economic development.
Councillor Gary Bell.
Hi everybody, my name is Councillor Gary Bell, Ward Member for Kilmarnock and the Cabinet responsibility for adult social care.
Councillor Carol Burtis.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillor Carol Burtis, Cabinet Member for Community Engagement, Safer Communities and the Community and Voluntary Sector.
Thank you. Councillor Steve Cox.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everybody. My name is Councillor Steve Cox. I'm a councillor for Collinwood Ward and the councillor with responsibility for housing on the council.
Councillor Sarah Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Councillor Sarah Day, Cabinet Member for Culture, Leisure and Sport.
Councillor Peter Early.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Councillor Peter Early. I'm the Cabinet Member for Children, Young People and Learning.
Councillor Ray Glindon.
Good evening, everyone. I'm the Cabinet Member for Finance and Resources in the Council and Camperdown Ward.
Councillor Margaret Hall.
Good evening, I'm Councillor Margaret Hall. I'm Councillor for Whitley Bay and I'm Cabinet Member for Public Health and Wellbeing.
And Councillor Carl Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Councillor Carl Johnson and I'm the Cabinet Member for Environment and Transport.
Thank you. Also in attendance is Councillor Sandra Graham. Sandra Graham is the Chair of the Overview Scrutiny and Policy Development Company. And can I ask Councillor Graham to introduce herself?
Good evening, Mayor. Sandra Graham. I'm a ward member also for Whitley Bay and chair of that relevant committee that you've just said. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I now ask the officers in attendance to introduce themselves? After I call your name, please turn on your microphone and camera and introduce yourself. Paul Hanson.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Paul Hanson. I'm Chief Executive of North Tyneside Council.
And Wendy Burke.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy Burke and I'm Director of Public Health.
Bryn Roberts.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Cabinet. I'm Bryn Roberts. I'm the Head of Law and Governance and the Authorities Monitoring Officer.
Janice Gillespie.
I don't believe Janice Gillespie is in attendance yet, Mayor.
Okay, no, she will be joining us and I know Claire's here. Jackie Lawson.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jackie Lawton. I'm Head of Corporate Strategy and Customer Service.
Mark Longstaff.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Longstaff, Head of Commissioning and Asset Management.
Jackie Old.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jackie Old and I'm the Director for Children's and Adult Services.
Thank you. Phil Scott.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Phil Scott. I'm the Head of Environment, Housing and Leisure.
John Sparks.
My apologies, Madam Mayor. I don't believe Mrs. Sparks is with us at this moment either.
That's okay. Dave Brown.
Hello everyone, I'm Dave Brown from Law and Governance.
Thank you very much. Can I now ask our partners who are in attendance to introduce themselves? And after I call your name, please turn on your microphone and camera. Introduce yourself. Robin Fry. No? David Hodgson.
Hello there, everyone. I'm David Hodgson. I'm here representing North Tyneside Business Forum.
Thank you, David. Roger Layton, is he with us?
Yes. Yes. Hello, I'm Roger Layton. I'm the Secretary of the Joint Trade Union Committee.
Thank you. Now, is there anyone else present who I have missed? No. I would just like to remind you in terms of etiquette. Oh, sorry, Claire, would you like to introduce yourself, Claire?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Claire Emerson, Deputy Section 151 for Suffolk North Tyneside.
And very important too, Claire. Thank you very much. Right. In terms of etiquette for the meeting, can I please remind everyone to mute their microphone, turn off their video unless they are speaking. For today's meeting, before we move on to consider the report, we must, first of all, to deal with some formalities. Apologies for absence. Have we got any of those?
We've received apologies from our young Mayor, Susan McKenzie, and also Dawn McNally from Age UK.
Are there any other apologies? No? Thank you ever so. Declarations of interest. Do any members wish to declare an interest in any items of business on this agenda? Can't see anyone. Right. We're on to item 3 now, and I'm going to ask the Cabinet Member for Finance and Resources, Councillor Greg Linden, to introduce this report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm presenting the Cabinet our formal responses to the budget scrutiny subgroups review of the Cabinet's initial and final budget proposals for 2021 and 2022. There were 2 recommendations made in relation to the initial budget proposals, which were included in the Cabinet's draft budget report received by Cabinet on the 1st of February 2021, Section 8 of the General Fund Annex. There are 2 themes that the committee considered needed to be emphasised further. One relating to the levels and use of strategic reserves, and the other relating to how the budget information is shared and money widely with the public. The proposed response to the recommendations for Cabinet to endorse are set out in these papers and Appendix B. There are no recommendations made in relation to the Cabinet's engagement approach on initial budget proposals for the General Fund, the HRA, and the 2021 Investment Plan, and 21-22 Treasury Management Statement, and Annual Investment Strategy. I'd now like to pass across to Councillor Graham, who will give an update on the Budget Study Group's review of the Cabinet's proposals.
Thank you, Councillor Glendon. Sincere apologies that I was not with you last week, Madam Mayor, but I'm with you tonight to answer any questions you may have. But I also just wanted to add, and it gives me great pains to have to say this, but it really is important that our recommendations are taken forward, given that some members, some of whom were on the scrutiny group and did not raise these matters at the meetings, are putting out disingenuous information that is being distributed through social media that the council has over 66 million in reserves and does not need to put up council tax, as if we had a choice. This is simply not true, and they know this. Most of this reserve is earmarked for projects, but they continue with this line that is patently untrue. The government are making us lift council tax by a total of 4.99%, and the monitoring officer has explained why this has to happen. For example, it would leave a cumulative black hole in our finances for years to come, in our future budget setting, and lead to financial instability. Also, the Section 151 officer has said she needs at least 15 million in the strategic reserve to set a prudent budget and have this fund set aside for a rainy day. This certainly has proved to be the case over this pandemic, when some grant funding has come from government, but not the total amount, and is paid in arrears and not upfront. So the scrutiny group were very strong on this and thought it very important to inform our residents where the money comes from, how it is spent, and on what vital services in a simple way, either graphically or on social media, or within the council tax bill, or an amalgam of all media forms to tell residents where the money comes from and where it goes. I would like to pay tribute to our hard-working staff team who have helped Cabinet set this budget with their expertise and advice in these extra difficult times. And the scrutiny group would like to thank the Mayor and Cabinet for adding to the remaining Poverty Intervention Fund, which in last year's budget was a stroke of genius to help out our neediest residents in these times of lost jobs and short time working and great need. Someone up there must have had a crystal ball. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Back to you, Councillor Glindon.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll ask Cabinet to approve the formal response to the recommendations made as set out in Appendix B of the report.
Thank you, Councillor Glindon. First of all, have any members have any questions about this report or anyone else? No? Have we got any comments about the budget? Can I see any hands going up? Yes, Councillor Burris.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Graham, for that review of what's been said through the budget study group. And I think it's really important, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, that we as a Cabinet, we need to make sure that the residents receive clear, truthful, honest messages about the finances of North Tyneside. So I would support your recommendations going forward.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to comment? Councillor Sarah Day.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Graham, for the report. I just want to echo what Councillor Burgess said. I think it's important to realise that this happens year after year after year. So I think this year, if we finally do something about it to get the real info in the public domain, it can just put this to bed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Day. Does anyone else want to make any comments? Councillor Day. No, well, first of all, I'd just like to thank you, Councillor Sandra Graham, for coming today and taking this and giving your comments and your heartfelt feelings about what we've had to do in this authority to come to these decisions. And I know you and your colleagues will have scrutinised this budgetly wholeheartedly, to be quite honest, because like me, there's no way you would want to do what we're having to do in these days at times of difficult times, to be quite honest. Like you, I was somewhat dismayed at some of the things that were sent to me that were put on social media. I found that really upsetting. First of all, because it was misleading. It was half a truth. And then when I thought about it a little more, it was rather deceitful, to be quite honest. And if we want to do real politics like we want to do in North Tyneside, let's have a bit of honesty, to be quite honest. Because I think the residents of this borough know if there is a problem, we will listen to them. And if we can help them, we will. And if we can't, we'll explain why, to be quite honest. I also would, at this point, like to thank Councillor Glindon, Councillor Pickard, my cabinet members, Janice Gillespie and Claire and all her colleagues and my officers who've worked really, really hard to give us this balanced budget. But more importantly, we've been able to keep the budget without making any cuts. And that's really important, isn't it? When you think of the millions we've lost over the years, 120 million, but we work very hard to make sure that we don't have to make any cuts. More importantly, we made sure that in the reserves, should we have more pressures come along, because this pandemic is not over, we have enough in reserve to look after our elderly, to look after young children. And I have to say, I'm really, really grateful to everyone who's worked very, very hard on this budget. And I hope our residents of North Tyneside continue to understand that we will work with them. We are not afraid to make difficult decisions, but on the other hand, we won't make rash decisions and silly decisions to make us look foolish further along the line when we can't cope with any pressures that come along. So I want to thank you all. I think we've done an extremely good job. Thanks to our businesses and our voluntary sector who've come along with us and helped us to get to where we are in these difficult times. And I look forward to working with you all in the future too. So thank you very much indeed. And I'm going to say to Councillor Glendon, thank you so much. It has been a difficult year. And I'm sure I'm now going to ask everybody if they could support and approve the recommendations in this report.
Agreed.
Great. Thank you so much indeed. And thanks to everyone for joining us. And that concludes today's Cabinet. Thank you all for your attendance, and especially the public have been watching this live stream. We've had to be and try to be as open and honest with you as we can be. And the next meeting will take place at 6 o'clock on Monday, the 22nd of February. And I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.